Hello, testing again. Okay, glad it's working again. I don't know why I disconnected, my apologies. Just let me get it out there. Back to the group so they know where to come back here. I don't know why I disconnected. Connectivity issues. Okay, well, I answered all the previous questions in the previous YouTube link. So you'll be able to see the answers there. I'm just going to type in the Facebook group the updated link of what this is. Okay. Okay, Laura Hill. I'm hearing other people say that they sent photocopies of both their passports, their Canadian passports, and a copy of the Canadian birth certificate quarantine plan. None of these things are listed. So for the initial applications, those were never listed. However, for the current applications, they do have it listed to have at least the Canadian's passport and proof of citizenship or something. So those things are listed now, but they weren't listed originally. And that is very, very upsetting. So any news from IRCC and why they are processing such low numbers? So as far as I understand it, is they actually think that they've processed all of them. And I believe them. They actually think that. The computer system has shown one very interesting glitch. People who applied on the 8th and 9th have been notified by like in their internal system were notified that they have their exemptions by like the October 25th, 26th. So this is very concerning to us because that means IRCC thinks that they've approved a number of people who may be approved in their system, but actually have not been emailed an approval. This is the IRCC missing. This is a really big problem. That's why we are manually having people either re-email or go through the MPs, or we're having this long list that we're sending over to IRCC because it's very upsetting that this has occurred. That's the answer we have when I ask, why are you processing low numbers? The answer is, well, we aren't processing low numbers. We've processed quite a bit. And I cannot tell you if that is a lie or not a lie. I personally believe that they actually believe they've been processed and they don't have a computer system to actually verify or check. So does your 14-day reset? I have been told verbally that your 14 days will not reset. Conversely, there have been so many issues, I'm not too sure. But typically, when someone is asked for more information, they are approved quite soon. So my suspicion is when you're asked for more information, you aren't resetted. So someone's asking, we submitted the request prior to the new update today requiring copies of Canadian passports. If we hit the 14 days, should we reapply with new info or contact my MP? So as far as I understand it, everyone who's applied gets processed based on the rules of the day that they applied. The problem has been, of course, that the IRCC missing applied early and have subsequently been penalized for applying early because they weren't processed. But for the vast majority of people, if you apply using under the rules of the day you applied, they either ask for more information, then you send them more information, and then you're approved. But you are not supposed to be penalized. So if you hit 14 days, that's what we're trying to figure right now, but we don't have exact guidance on what to do after you've passed the 14 business days. Any idea why the numbers are so drastically different each day? I don't know. That's a good question. I should ask that. David, how many times do we have to apply? We reapplied 3 times. So did you apply 3 times within 14 business days? And then I'll wait for your response here because maybe I don't understand what you mean. How many times do you have to apply? My MP contacted the IRCC and were told by the IRCC the reason for delay is a large amount of applications. That's not true, is it? Well, they do have a large amount of applications and we've been given a processing time of 14 business days. That's what they said. So we hold them to that. We didn't say, give it to us in 14 business days. They gave us that number and we will hold them to that number. So even if it's a large number, we were promised that number and we'll hold them to that number. Did IRCC aware of sent approvals not been? Yes, IRCC is aware that IRCC is aware that those approved on their system have not been sent to people. Special hello to my good friend Justin Daly. If they think they have processed all the earlier applications, why aren't more recent ones being processed? So as far as we can tell, they believe that they're processing in order. They believe they're processing order, and that's why they think that they've passed all the 8th. So I'm unsure why more recent ones aren't being processed, but I think it's because they're trying to do it chronologically. Now, of course, we have evidence that they're not doing it chronologically, but the best answer I have here is that they think that they're doing it chronologically, and the reason we've been told for the out of order processing is that people have already been approved, but the emails have not been sent. I realize it sounds, look, I have 2 options. I can either believe that they're lying to us straight to the face, or that the infrastructure and IT system is completely broken. I believe that the IT structure is completely broken. I understand some of you feel differently, and you have every right to at that point. But I do believe that the IT structure is so broken, they genuinely don't know what happened to these IRCC missing, and all I want to do is deliver these missing people to the door. Okay, you see, 30 days is not possible. It's by business day. It's not. Can you please recalculate the number of business days? Are American applicants allowed to contact their respective MP for assistance? So anyone from anywhere in the world can contact an MP, but the MP is not obligated to respond unless you're Canadian. So the American applicant, the better option is just have your Canadian family member contact their MP. Then already it's a guaranteed response. So yes, please have the Canadian extended family member initiate the contact. You can CC you, for example. Make sure to have your name, birthday, and postal code on it. The IRCC website now states that we shouldn't reapply. From my understanding, we've always been told not to reapply. The problem is what happens when those have missed the 14th business day, and IRCC has not given me a direct answer from their top level people. If the IRCC top level people tell me don't reapply, then I'll convey that to you. Right now, they have not given me any guidance on that, and I think, honest to goodness, they're trying to figure out what to do about the IRCC missing. Thank you. I hope the exam went well too. When crossing via land, the border agents have final say. I've heard horror stories of people being turned around despite all the requirements. Any detailed info on land crossing? So at the start, and I remember this is video number 2, the first one got cut out. After we won our exemptions, our goal was to become a CBSA watchdog. There's a big issue when you have a giant number of agents who don't have a large procedural oversight body. My own partner was rejected at the border after flying in with a negative COVID test and a letter from the consulate from the embassy in Europe. So with anything, it's possible to be denied, even with our exemptions, and that is the great fear. So we do need to have some level of CBSA oversight. So you'll hear these horror stories, but it looks like the vast majority of us have not been denied. It looks like, according to what we've seen with people flying in, and sometimes in the land border, is that you will all be put into secondary. So what that is there's the first room where you meet the agent, and then they'll put you in the second room to ask you more questions. But it looks like none of us, as far as I have seen, have been denied in secondary. But that will be an extra level of hassle. Okay, so Brishank, if our application is lost, should we call IRCC? Yes, you should also contact your MP. If your MP is barely replying, then I recommend forwarding your case, which includes the original date of application, your date, the date of birth, the full name, and the email address of the foreign national to either MP Kwan or MP Dancho, because they're the correct. Unfortunately, IRCC has not given me any clear guidance on what to do about the IRCC missing. Did IRCC say that they'll resend those approvals again, or are they working on those with not delivered approvals? So one of the things they're pushing on, one of my teammates, and I don't know whether or not I can say his name publicly, but he said that we need to flush the system, as in anything that is a pending approval has to be resent. Genuinely, I think IRCC does not know what to do with the IRCC missing, but I'm in regular contact with them. I wish I had a better idea. What we've seen what has worked for some people is they contact their MP, they reapply, and they call, and they all get different information, but eventually that comes. But there are still a number of people from the 8th and 9th who have not had their approval, and that's really irritating me. So this is a very good question. Murgamil says that the IRCC responded by saying we don't meet immediate family, but you applied for extended family. This is a chronic problem. If you get an email like that, respond to that email. If you get any correspondence with that, respond to it, because it's clearly wrong. So that's something the IRCC has told me. If they tell you a wrong thing, respond to them. That's the best I can do for that one. What are our next steps if we are approved but have not received the email in our inbox or spam folder? So if you are a person who has not heard anything back by the 14th business day, we don't have IRCC guidance what to do. This is what I recommend you do. I recommend you contact your MP. I recommend you reapply, forwarding your original email, your original application. In the event that your MP has not been helpful and you've been trying, you can email Kwan and Dancho. Fill out our regular forms, and we are delivering that list of the IRCC missing to the IRCC regularly. My good friend Justin says, explain the difference between reapply and resubmit previous info. So we have seen very few denials. Okay, so I'm just going to take denials off the table. We've seen very few denials. There have been a number of emails from people that our members have received that say, please send us more information. Those are not denials either. You reply to that with the extra information. Okay, so that's just giving more information. A reapply is a fresh start. A fresh start is a brand new email saying, I would like to apply for the extended family exemption. What we're saying is, if you've missed the 14th business day, what you can also do is reapply and take a screenshot or forward the original email of your original application and say, I applied on October the 8th. You have to process me. This is just a heads up that I processed, and here's a proof that I was applied on this day, and you haven't responded to me by now. So that's the difference between reapply, also showing your original application, and then showing new information by responding to a question. Brishank says, I was in Ottawa when my form was notarized, but I actually live in Saskatchewan. From my understanding, that doesn't change anything. You just need a notarized form. And if you already have a notarized form, you have a notarized form. Please thank the team. It's all of us have worked very, very hard, and the team has just worked so hard. So, Shainez, today is Thursday, and I hope that you participate in our Reunification Thursday email campaign. You'll see point number 2 in the email campaign that temporary residents are right there. We say that temporary residents are the backbone of Canada's economic recovery. They equally are suffering as well. So, Shainez, please look at the Reunification Thursday emails and send them out. Yeah, go team. My partner's exemption was approved, but I flew to US to be with her before she received the approval. Now I want to drive back to Canada to live there. So this is exactly what AJ and I went through. I was in Ireland with AJ, and she received her approval, so we went back from Ireland to Canada on the same flight. I don't think there's any issue, Jeff. So Micah says we applied on the web form and not with email at first. So if you are a web form person, keep reapplying through the web form. That's how you keep contacting. I don't know if you're supposed to restart the 14 days, but from my understanding, no one is supposed to be penalized for following the rules. I understand those who applied on the 8th and 9th are being penalized in that way, and it's irritating me a lot. But the rules are supposed to be, if you're an ETA person, go through the web form. How do you forward the original application if you applied via web form? Take a screenshot and attach it. After you hit submit, you're allowed to attach forms, so I'd recommend take a screenshot and attach it. And if you have nothing like that, then just write it down in that little section that says, tell us what your case. Resubmitting with a different email will be a problem because from my understanding, emails are how they track you. So if you email from one account, continue to email from that same account. Someone says if we applied on the 8th and then they request more info on the 29th and we sent the same form, will they accept that? Yes. The same notarized form. Thank you, team. So if someone applied on October, so this is for UC. If you applied on October 9th, nothing happened until October 22nd. On October 22nd, you reapplied and you got a response on October 23rd. So depending on I honestly believe that depending on the agent on your October 22nd, they are counting you from October 22nd. Hopefully, they're still counting you as an October 9th person, but I have no guarantee on that. If on October 22nd, though, when you contacted them, you had your information of your original application and proof, I do believe that our agent would have realized that you were following up on an application that missed the 14 business days. Given that the time frame between you applying originally on the 9th and then having more information on the 22nd, I'm sorry, no, you reapplied on the 22nd. So you might have been one of the IRCC missing, and I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening in that regard. We are just trying to get clarity. Fill out the regular web forms. Fill out our regular Google forms so we have a record of you and your partner, and we can make sure to send that to the IRCC. So Elish has a good question. People who applied on ETA don't have any record. If you don't have a screenshot of the day, I understand it would have not been necessary. But what you could do is you could, there's a section on the ETA form, type out your scenario, write big letters, reapplication from October 9th. There's proof because our form is notarized on October 9th, and therefore it's obvious that we applied on October 9th. Just write anything you can to just prove to them that you applied early. That's the best I can do. Again, IRCC has not told me that. That's just the best option I have right now. Thank you for thinking the team is very wonderful. And it's okay. I'm very worried. I'm very impatient as well. I'm completely irritated at the current system. I understand some of you might believe that the IRCC is either lying to us or that their system is broken. I choose to believe that the system is broken. That I honestly believe that. So Jennifer Sorrell asks, I submitted by forwarding my email. Should I reply in a web form? If you're a web form person, use the web form. If you're an email person, use the email. An email person are those who are either American or have visitor visa. A web form person are people who use ETA. Gosh. So Carol, this is real bad. You received a letter in GC key account, the one used to apply for visa, saying the US does not need written authorization. So that's completely bonked. Since you're a US person, email them, screenshot this GC, say that, and then screenshot your original application. You applied for an extended family. I don't know why you're being responded to by immediate family. It's completely bonked in that regard. So again, you can either say that the IRCC has been lying to us or that the computer system is broken, and I believe that the computer system is broken. So it is. So someone writes, it seems like they're exclusively playing games with USA citizens. So I said this in the first video, and I did cut out. You can watch that video again. But US people have never had a system in the IRCC to be processed. So what that means is this has been a brand new system to process Americans. So between being told that we're being played with, this is a game to them, and a bonked computer system, I choose to believe that the computer system is broken. I completely understand if you believe something else. Okay, so Carol F says, I'm not from US. Okay, so it's completely wrong for you, Carol. Screenshot it all, tell them how wrong they are, show them show the evidence that you applied on the right day. This is completely unacceptable. Fill out the Google forms that we've been putting out, please, because we need to show them just how many errors are occurring. I applied on the web form, and it doesn't allow me to have more than 4 documents to upload, so I applied on email as well. And IRCC agent said do both if possible. Do you think this will affect your application? So, I mean, if IRCC told you that, just get it in writing. This is now a technical tip, but if you're only allowed to upload 4 documents, then have the passports of both you and your family member on the same document and screenshot that together. I just recommend having everything in one piece, because sure, it's possible that an email and the ETA form will connect, but given how many computer system errors they're having, I would not recommend doing anything separately. So Katie talks about combining PDFs. Okay. If there are no more questions, we'll head off. I'm very sorry for all this confusion. I honest to goodness wish that we could have made this work better. we have tried very, very hard to get this to work. And I personally feel that I've failed so many of you by not getting you through right now. I am very sorry about that. I am trying my best to get the IRCC missing through. The vast majority of people who have applied after October 15th have been approved in order and approved very fast. So there is a system that works, but something is wrong with the early applicants, and it is really upsetting me. I am so sorry, and we will keep pushing to get this fixed. I don't know what went wrong. I hope the exam went well. That's true. So Mallory says today was also 14 days for October 17th applications. Since it was Saturday, just fill out the Google form when you can, because we want to track all this. That's the best I can do. I don't know what other options we have right now. My MP's IRCC contact told them that the 14 days is guideline only. It's true. It's true. We can't hold them to that. But 14 days was listed. We're calling it the 14-day promise. And it's absurd that anyone in the 8th and 9th have not been approved by now, because people later who applied later have already been approved. There's something completely wrong. And this is something that I brought up during the parliamentary committee. We bring up in Reunification Thursdays. I bring up with the critics. I bring up with the IRCC. It's very upsetting, and it is completely unacceptable. I appreciate you saying that, but I personally feel that I failed those in the 8th and 9th. Anyway. It's been 19 business days for some people. It's from my understanding that we're only hitting the 17th business day. Don't forget that there was Canadian Thanksgiving, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. I'd like to highlight Erin, who is the one who does our daily care threads with our Love Warriors. And if Liz is watching, thank you for covering for Erin in the meantime. It is not fair that it is not in order. It is not fair. I am not a good person, but the team has been fantastic. They are just wonderful, and all the thanks should go to the team. If the MP says they can't get any information from IRCC, is there anything we can pass along? So the basic idea is if your MP is not helping you, message your entire file to Kwan and Dancho. That's the best I can tell you to do. Your MP is supposed to help you. If they're not helpful, make sure you have a record of that and send it to Kwan and Dancho. We need better oversight for these people, for the CBSA, for the IRCC, for MPs at this point. But right now, I just want to get the IRCC missing through. That, number 2 is temporary residence, and number 3 are shorter trips. That's our current strategy. The Atlantic bubble is something that we had never even considered would be an obstacle. Some people have gotten through to from my understanding, if you apply to the Atlantic bubble and explain to them everything, typically people can get through the Atlantic bubble. It's just an extra step. But if it's not working, I saw some posts that it's becoming quite an issue for some people. But let's see how it actually plays out in practicality. This person applied on the 14th, got a reply from IRCC on October 28th, and then resubmitted per their request. You should be processed soon, because a lot of people, Jordan, in your position have been processed soon. Thank you for your patience. So Eilish is wondering whether or not, because the rules were broken on the first days, is that why that the applications are delayed? I don't think even IRCC knows why the applications are delayed. My best guess is the system was not ready, but a number of us, including myself, have been approved from the first days. I think from the first day, we can track 30 applicants who haven't. So the vast majority have been approved, but there's something wrong with the initial applicants, and I just don't know what it is. I'm not sure IRCC knows either. Once again, it's either they're lying to us or the computers are broken. I honestly believe that the computer system is broken, but I understand if sometimes you have every right to believe something else. But I believe the computer systems are broken. Yeah, I'm very angry. Thank you, Bobby. Okay, so Brishank, if you have not heard anything by the 14th business day, fill our Google form, contact your MP, reapply with the original information. Should we be speaking to our MP directly or someone from their office? The someone from their office should effectively be the right person, as long as they have your information and as long as they're committing to you that they'll help. For US applications, do you forward our old email or start a fresh email? Once again, the IRCC has not told me what to do. I genuinely don't think from the correspondence we have that they have a standard operating procedure for missing applications. So what I'm recommending, this is David recommendation, is forward your original application as proof that you emailed on time much, much earlier. That's what I'm recommending. I think, Amanda, anyone who has applied before the 15th can be considered IRCC missing. We just had the best data for 8th and 9th, but now we're creeping up onto the 14th and 15th or so. And then, anecdotally, people who've applied after the 15th have had good processing times. I think anyone before the 15th could be considered the IRCC missing. We just need people filling out the Google forms to see just how much of this issue this is. Jordan is correct. We were told not to clog the system. That means people shouldn't be reapplying before the 14th business day. If the IRCC told me what to do on the 14th business day for people who have not been approved, we would do that. The IRCC has not told me what to do because I'm not sure they have a strategy yet. So it's unfortunate that we are going to clog the system with these reapplications. I think all those people should already be approved. I don't know what to do. This is the best I have right now. So, Omar, the spousal sponsorship people are a separate group. However, we're all working together in the interest of bringing families together. But they have separate groups. They are doing a fantastic job. They're the ones who to contact because I'm no expert on that. The one thing that we might be running into together is 179B. Because processing something like that, so not arbitrarily, but being able to be denied for something as a blanket like 179B, that's something that we may be working on. In addition, we want to improve capacity for the processing offices at the IRCC, and that's something that will help both the spousal sponsorship people as well as us. But we are two separate campaigns. Their admins and I, we've talked, we're two separate campaigns. They'll be able to help you better. Most people who've reapplied or resubmitted or responded to application stuff, the vast majority of people have been approved. There's just a substantial number of IRCC missing. It's over 200 people that we can track. So there's something wrong. That's the best answer I have. So the idea is that we give the IRCC it every day. We are at least telling them the numbers. But the form itself, because it has so much confidential information, I'm not submitting it to anyone until the IRCC says, David, give me the names of the 229 people. So giving the number of people to the IRCC regularly, but the names and the personal information, I'm not handing it over until someone I know is going to actually hold it. It has happened once that someone has asked for it. I don't know anything about Mexico applicants being approved. Okay, so we're done with questions. Have a wonderful day, guys. I'm sorry, and we'll keep pressing forward. And yes, as always, thank you, Justin. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you to anyone on the team on this call. And I'm so sorry, everyone. I want to deliver a win for you guys. All right, I'll talk to you soon.